aware of the Olam, of the Umas HaOlam, of the other nations. Ma'aseh Yedei Adam, the Poel, the actions are always man-made. Skyscrapers, aeroplanes, science, books, cars, any recognition of any form of life is only Ma'aseh Yedei Adam. Pelahem, they have a mouth, but they don't speak. Or they do. Einayim lahem v'lo, they have eyes, but they don't see. But they do see. What does David HaMelech mean here? Oznayim lahem, they have ears, but they don't hear. But they do. What does he mean when he says this? And then at the end, which is the tzura of Umas HaOlam, of the other nations of the world, they are basically silver and gold and Maaseh B'nei Adam, actions of man, but nothing more, nothing divine. They don't recognize any more than their own achievements. Even though they might recognize that there is a God, which is what we said in the third stage of the creation, but it's lacking because it's all Maaseh B'nei Adam. Klal Yisrael betach b'Hashem, Ezra Mumagin Amru. The feature of the Jewish nation is much higher because they deflect any achievement or accomplishment back to the Almighty. That's the Nodva Liboy Lahakir Es Boiroi, which they don't have. And that's when we turned around and said, Lo Ilonu, it's not us, it's you. It's the deflection, it's the chesed, it's the kindness, that it's you and not me. And therefore I'm acting in the same way as you act. That's what's behind it. When Klal Yisrael say Lo Ilonu, it's not us. Kiddushimcha al chastocha v'amitecha, chastocha and your kindness. Amitcha is everything is very well done. It's good, it's truthful, it's professional, it's proficient. That is the generous spirit which the Jewish nation have, which is the Avraham Ivri, the ability to say, like you give all the time and never get back, so I give back. It's not me, I'm returning it back to you, because it's you and not me. This generous spirit is the underlying theme behind the Emunah B'tochen, which we brought out of Avraham Ivri. This is the Ivri coming out. This is the feature which we see here. Just in case perhaps you might think that this is ancient history, this is Avraham Avinu in 1948, this is Avraham in the battle, David HaMelech, all these characters lived years ago. No, I don't think so. This feature is a very prominent feature in the Jewish nation. It really is this ability to stand back and say, it's not me, it comes from Hashem. This generosity inside the feature of the Jewish nation is part of the Emunah B'tochen, is part of the faith which the Jewish nation have. That's the makeup of the Avraham Avinu, which comes out in all generations. It happens in our generations as well. I would suggest that was the greatness of Meir Schuster, who met as many people as he could to bring them back for their benefit, not for his benefit. He wasn't being paid anything. He wasn't working in order to make money from encouraging people to recognize HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Nodva es liboy, lahakir es boiroi. It's the same idea, this generous spirit of concern for a fellow Jew. Rabbi Levine, the great tzaddik in Yerushalayim, his approach to people was based on chesed, the kindness. That is the trait of the Zayda, Avraham Avinu. This is the Avraham Ivri coming out. This is the real fiber, this is the real passport, this is the real identity of the Emunah and B'tochen of a Jew. Just in the summer this year, in July, someone sent me the following email. A teacher in a school was a mora matakenet, means she took children who are having difficulty with learning disabilities, and she gave them private lessons in the course of the school. And she had a child who came in, and she worked with the child, but she could not discover any disability that the child had. And this went on for quite some time, and she became very frustrated because the child could write, the child could read, the child could add up, the child could do everything. 10-year-old boy. And she didn't understand why he was coming for private lessons. And she turned around and said to the boy, I really don't know what you're doing here. You're really wasting your parents' money, and you should be in the regular classroom. You don't need my help. You have no learning disability. He said, yes, it's okay, I'm staying here. And she couldn't move me, kept on coming into the classes, private lessons, and she didn't. Eventually, she turned around and said, no, enough. I can't take you anymore. The boy turned around and said, I'll tell you why I keep on coming. There's another boy in my class who does need lessons, and he told me he's so embarrassed that he has to go for private lessons with the learning disability, Mora Metakenet, someone to help him, that he's just too upset and too depressed. So I turned around to him and I said to him, listen, I also go for lessons by the teacher as well, so you shouldn't feel bad, embarrassed. I don't want him to feel bad, so that's why I come as well. This beautiful trait of a child, the kindness and the empathy and the understanding for another child. This was one of the boys, Gilad Sha'ar, who was killed on the 3 boys by Efrat of the Yeshiva Bachurim. What a korban tamima this was in Klal Yisrael. Perfect child. A real Einikel of the Zayda, a descendant of the Zayda, Avraham Ivri. He gave of himself, Nodva es liboy, lahakir es boira, to help others, but his underlying trait was the kindness, the thoughtfulness. He had this inside his character and his personality, this 10-year-old child, who later was killed, Hashem Yimkom Domai, with all the others, the 2 other boys. This is the quality of Avraham Avinu, the kindness, which is inside the Emunah of Avraham Avinu. This is the Haven Kavat Tzedek. It's not enough just the recognition of the Almighty or that it's a beautiful world. Inside this is the generous spirit, which is part of the makeup, which Avraham Avinu, that's how he reached it, said the Alter from Slobodka. He reached it through recognizing the kindness, and therefore I must be the same. And that was the feature of the character which came out inside his emunah. And that is the reason why he was called Avraham of Ivri, and that is the feature of the emunah, using the words of the Rambam and the Alter from Slobodka. Thank you very much. Good evening, Kol Tov.